afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a very loud, very noisy Bramall Lane, South Yorkshire, Sheffield, right in the heart of the Steel City. I hope you can hear me okay. If you can't, please let me know in the comments or whatever. Anyway, hello from the press box here on the red side of Sheffield. Ipswich looking to continue their fine run of form that they've been on with a win against Sheffield United. They are winning. The winning run is 5 games in all competitions. They're unbeaten 7 games in all competitions. Their last defeat at Leicester a little over a month ago now. So we spoke a lot about how Ipswich need to go on a proper winning run, a run of impressive performances and results where you don't come away feeling really deflated and frustrated with how they've played. And they've delivered that. Finally, it feels like we've got a lift off in the season, and it feels like we're starting to see this team, this group of players click. And speaking of this team, speaking of this group of players, let's have a look at your Ipswich Town team. 4-2-3-1 as always. There are 5 changes within this, and one in the back line, which does come as a surprise for an Ipswich team that wants to keep the back line pretty consistent where possible. Leif Davis drops out. He's on the bench, whether that's more of a tactical thing, whether that's going to be injury related. McKenna did mention that there were 1 or 2 knocks that needed to be assessed in the build-up. Whether it's a little bit of both, we don't know. But Leif Davis drops to the bench. I'm sure we'll find out more about that decision after the game today. Other than that, it's a consistent back line. Furlong on the right and O'Shane Kitray partnering each other there. Matasiwa continues in midfield. He continues to walk that yellow card tightrope, it's a mouthful to say. And he's still going. He's 1 away from a 2-match ban, but he's managed to get through some really tricky and important fixtures to be available, and deserves huge credit for the way he's negotiated that. He's playing alongside Jack Taylor in midfield today, who is another change. Yeah, probably what I expected at least. I think he offers a little bit more solidity in midfield over Jens Fuster, who drops to the bench and will probably be a good option to bring on in the second half of this game this afternoon. And then the front line, 3 changes to the front 4. We've got on the right Cinderella Eggley, who comes back in. Wes Burns drops to the bench. Casey McAteer also on the bench. But Cinder, who's given the nod, he didn't even come off the bench actually in midweek. He was an unused substitute, and then you got a little bit of a run out against Blackburn. He kind of played, just under 70 minutes, 6 minutes in that one, and a very brief cameo in the game before that against Blackpool. So hasn't played a great deal of football, Sindra. Good to see him hopefully build up a little bit of speed and momentum. And through the middle with Marcelino Nunez out with an ankle injury. We've got Sam Smodic. It's pretty good that you can take out your star number 10 and replace him with a former Golden Boot winner. That's not too bad, is it? He's playing through the middle today. We've got Jack Clark on the left, who, again, with Jaden Philogene out, is basically the best replacement that you could ask for, isn't he? Let's be honest. Goals, 10 for the season. He's doing so well at the moment, and hopefully he can take that chance while Jaden Philogene is out. And then up front, it's George Hurst back in the Steel City against the rivals of his boyhood team, Sheffield United. I'm sure he would really love a goal today. Will he be able to get it? We'll wait and see. There's going to be a little bit of frustration that even Azon drops out of the team, no doubt, because Azon put in a really strong performance against who was it in midweek? Bristol City. There we go. Wake up, Alex. Against Bristol City in midweek. I think he was personally, I know Jack Clark scored the goal, but he was my man of the match with his overall game. I thought he was brilliant. Really good. So that's your team. There's your 5 changes on the bench. We have Alex Palmer, Leif Davis, Wes Burns, Jens Fuster, Ben Johnson, Casey McAteer, Elkan Bagger, even Azon, and Anis Mehmeti, new in through the door. I did a little video with Stu yesterday. We did a live video that's gone up in podcast format. That's gone up on YouTube as well. It's free to listen to, so come check that out. We talk about all things transfers. We talk about Mehmeti, what he can bring, where he's going to fit in. Hopefully, we'll get to see him off the bench today, because that will be a really exciting sign. Just over 24 hours ago, Anis Mehmeti is on the bench for Ipswich Town. You're right, it does say Nunez on the screen. That is a good point. That's why we don't copy and paste things and then make the changes after. Should we change that? Here it comes. That should work now. Will it? I don't know. Either way, it's Marcelino Nunez who comes out and Smolix who is in the team. At least I posted that right on Twitter. Have I got the Sheffield United team right? Let's find out. Keep an eye out and we will see. Let's see if I can actually get it to show. Here is your Sheffield United team then. So we think this is going to be a move away from what Chris Wilder's team have done in the last few games. He responded to a little dip in form by changing to a 4-4-2. It really works for Sheffield United, and they for a while were the form team in the division. They were in excellent form from kind of November through to December, and then the turn of the year happened, and it's been quite tricky for them. That's why they're still 17th in the division, and the last 3 games they lost here for the first time since November 1st. That was in the FA Cup, though. A 4-3 defeat to League One Mansfield Town. They came from behind to rally in that one, but still ended up losing that one and crashing out of the cup. Then they lost 1-0 back-to-back away games. First one at Charlton Athletic. They were down to 9 men in that one. And that is why Japhet Tanganga and Jibril Soumare are not available to Wilder today. And also then beaten by Southampton at St Mary's in midweek. That was a 1-0 defeat. Cienza scoring the early goal in quite a cagey affair there. And the players who come out, you see Hoover's dropped out, Burrows has dropped out, Chong has dropped out, Arblast has dropped out, and Campbell dropped out. Campbell. In comes Sam McCallum, in comes Gustavo Hamer, in comes Andre Brooks, Tom Davis, the lesser spotted Tom Davis, I think, in a Sheffield United shirt, Femi Suriki and Patrick Bamford, who comes in and captains the team. Of course, Patrick Bamford was just laughing at the comment. Patrick Bamford was an Ipswich Town target this month. They did have talks about trying to bring him to Portman Road when his deal at Sheffield United was set to expire. But ultimately he ended up staying here. He's worked well under Wilder and he's kick-starting his career again a little bit. And I think it's probably the right move from his perspective. Signs a pretty lucrative deal from what we understand. He won't be heading to Portman Road this month. And he will lead the line against the Blues. On the bench, Adam Davis, the goalkeeper. And then we've got Oliver Arblaster, Tom Cannon, Kiana Hoover, Harrison Burrows, Tyrese Campbell, Tahith Chong, Alex Matos, and Dovidas Sasnaukas. We're going to go with that. A couple of comments here. Thank you, Tom. Still love you, Alex. I love you too, Tom. That was not my best move leaving Nunez in the team, but I'm glad that it was water under the bridge. I'm going to find a way to change that on the graphic as well. James said, Smolix is a surprise, but I think that answers whether he's leaving, in my view. Looks a good lineup. I wonder how the left-hand side will work. Hopefully, for a 2-1 win. I think that the feeling around Bramall Lane was quite a lot of pessimism from what I've seen going into this game. And then the team news has come out, and I think that Sheffield United fans are pretty happy with the way that Chris Wilder's dealt with it and made a couple of changes, both in terms of personnel and the tactics. So yeah, I think that is going to be an interesting little twist. There maybe could have been an element of playing into the crowd growing frustrated if Ipswich were ahead at that point. But that's where that's not really going to happen in this one, I think, because I think there's going to be everyone behind Sheffield United, behind Chris Wilder, and a packed out Bramall Lane today. With Smolix, I think he was always the most likely to play in that number 10 role with Marcelino Nunez out. God, I love saying that. Where do you go with the alternatives? When you look at it, you could have played Sindra in the 10 and put Wes in, or Casey McAteer, or Anis Memeti could have been thrown in at the deep end. Let's be honest, it would have been, given that he signed just over 24 hours ago. But yeah, I think that all things considered, this was what I saw happening. I wouldn't necessarily say it's just one thing or the other for Smolix and his future. I really don't know what the situation is going to be. If Barry comes through behind me, we'll have to wait and see. I wonder how the left-hand side will work. That's also another interesting point, because I guess you've got the kind of almost overlapping element that you can have with this, where I think naturally it's going to look more like Smodics in the 10 and Jack Clark on the left, but we've seen Smodics for a lot of last season played on the left, and we've seen Jack Clark now playing in the 10. So there is some kind of overlapping that we can see with that could cause some problems and some confusion for Sheffield United. 2-1 win. I hope so. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. I think this is a difficult old game. Tom says, do we think it's Azon or Manetti on for Hurst on 70? Azon is the answer for that. I think that Manetti is going to be playing either on the left when he comes on or in a central midfield role. I wouldn't expect him to get more than 10 minutes, Hannes, but you never know, I suppose. We'll have to wait and see. I think while we've still got the absence of Jaden Philogene, I think that Manetti is going to play a supporting role to Jack Clark, and then we'll see him when Philogene returns, coming into that number 10 role a little bit more. That's really how I see it. I don't think that Manetti will be leading the line or anything like that, and I don't think that you can have a team at the moment which doesn't have either George Hurst or even Azon leading the line when there is also no G Rakpom, who's out with an injury still. Eric says Sheffield United look fairly strong. They do, don't they? I think that Hamer's one who, for me, they haven't had in for a little while. He's not really been featuring. They've had Callum O'Hare, who's been playing on the left. I noted that Wilder was talking about how, well, O'Hare's been playing so well on the left, why would I switch him centrally to bring Hamer back in? So we'll have to wait and see who actually plays in the middle for that role for Sheffield United. I really wouldn't be surprised either way. But again, I suppose that could cause some confusion. You look at the firepower they've got. Bamford's been in really good form. But the fact that you can look at the bench and call on Tom Cannon, who's cost them at least multi-million pounds. Tyrese Campbell, who's proven himself really well at this level. Burrows, top left back. Chong plays in the Premier League recently. I know he's come under fire here, but still, Arblaster has performed really well in the middle of the park. Started in midweek and looked a bit tired, but still, real depth in their squad and in that team as well. This is a tough game for sure. Tom says, I hope to see Manetti, although we all love Azon. We do all love Azon. We got to speak to even Azon for the first time in midweek, and I thought that Cedric Kipre had the most infectious smile and personality in the squad, but definitely that there's something about even Azon's smile that you cannot get past. It's brilliant. Michael says, good morning, all from Brisbane. Let's hope for a good game and a good win. Good morning, Michael. That is an early start, I would imagine. I'm as I keep on banging on about, I'm going to New York soon. I'm very interested to see how it's going to be watching Cambridge, who are playing on the Tuesday night, while I'm in New York, and how that's all going to be a bit weird with the time zones. Let's see. Can I change the banner again now so I hide that? Let's see. I thoroughly enjoy the element of me trying to figure out how I actually do this and change things around. I think I've figured it out. There we go. Your Ipswich Town team correct this time, I think, as Tom will be happy to see. So we'll go back over this one again. It's 5 changes to the team. Breeze comes in for Davis. We've got Taylor playing alongside Matasiwa, Valet on the right, Smodics through the middle, and George Hurst leading the line, which sees Davis move onto the bench alongside Wes Burns and alongside even Azon, and Manetti on there as well. New signing. Obviously, Marcelino Nunez drops out. Still no Jaden Philogene. We'll probably get an update on those after this game, and I'm hoping we'll get a bit of context, I suppose, on the signing of Manetti. Where's he going to fit in? That's probably the biggest question mark for me, in that Ipswich have all of the left-sided players in the world, basically now, or at least all of the best ones in the Championship, it feels. Their left-sided options. Shall I see if I can quickly go through it in my head in terms of the actual number of goals they've scored? So Jack Clark scored 10 in the Championship with 1 assist. That's 11 goal contributions. Jaden Philogene has 9 and 2, so that's 11, so that's 22. And then Anis Manetti has 8 goals, 6 assists. Is that 36 goals off the top of my head? For all of them. I mean, that is crazy. 36 goals between those 3 left-sided players. Obviously, Mametti's not done any of those in an Ipswich shirt yet, but wow. The depth we've got there. And that leads on to this comment from Michael. Honestly, I don't see the reason for getting Mehmeti. I thought we had a good enough cover for the majority of positions. It just seems a waste. I think more than anything, it's opportunistic from Ipswich in that they've noticed that they've got a player who probably at full value with a long-term deal, I would say is worth £10 million. I would say, given his age, given how many goals he's scoring at championship level, given the profile and how he could step up to the Premier League, I'd say maybe 10 would be around the right number for Anis Mehmeti. And they've got him for 3, maybe 3.5 with add-ons. And he bolsters the attacking depth. It'll be interesting to see where Kieran sees him fitting in. Is he going to largely make up that left-sided depth? Don't forget as well that Kieran McKenna wanted to keep Nathan Broadhead over the summer. They didn't want to lose him. He wanted to go in the season with Broadhead, with Philogene, and with Jack Clark. So maybe he does see him as left-sided depth, and it's important to have that. But I do think that we will see Anis Mehmeti playing more than anything through the middle and helping Smolix if he stays at the club, and also Marcelino Nunez as well, who is out injured today. Tom also says, might be a tough game for Matt Seawood to avoid picking up a yellow. Going to be a proper battle, this is City Pep, I think, in the middle. Two quite aggressive players. I think in Pep's case, I need to see how many bookings he's picked up, but he always seems to me as an aggressive kind of battler. Booked against Blackburn, booked against Southampton, Borough and Millwall's only on 4 for the season, I think, so not too many. But yeah, he's a good young player. He was an England under 21 international as well. One to keep an eye on, and that's going to be a very interesting battle. Michael says, really nice, Michael. I grew up in New York. I go to the city a lot. If you need some suggestions for food or places to go, Michael, you want to find them in here, or you want to message me on Twitter, or tweet me, or on Instagram, or email me if you can find that, alex.jones@newspress.co.uk, I think, then please, I'd be happy to have your recommendations. It's going to be an absolute jam-packed few days when I'm there. We're not there for that long. I think it's basically on Sunday to Thursday, so it's very busy. But if you've got any ideas, any suggestions, please do let me know. I've got a comment here. Mehmeti's versatile. He gets assists and goals in an average team. He's young, he's cheap. I trust McKenna's recruitment. I know that I just want to clarify. I know this isn't the point that comes with the comment that you've made, but I think it's worth stressing, just in case there are people out there maybe don't see it in the same way. When players are signed, it's not like FIFA career mode necessarily, where the manager's almost spearheading it. It'll be the recruitment team often driving it, and then the manager signing it off. But no doubt that Kieran McKenna is well aware of Anis Mehmeti and has been for a long time before, and has been keen on him. They didn't cross over past Tottenham, but no doubt that they would have known about each other probably at the youth level football, and for sure, given the profile that Mehmeti has had, both at Wickham, I would say, and now at Bristol City, I think Kieran McKenna would attract him for quite a while. So is he going to be like a McKenna-driven signing? Is he a recruitment data-driven signing? I don't know. But no doubt, with an Ipswich Town setup like this, Ipswich will not sign players without Kieran McKenna signing it off. And yes, as you say, I do also agree that I would totally back his judgment. And there's a lot of comments about maybe Mehmeti's end product. I've seen some frustrations from Bristol City fans, but this is a team that Bristol City have had a mixed bag of a season. 8 goals and 6 assists. Is that the most that any? I think that'd be more than any Ipswich player has had as actual clear goal contributions this season. So he comes in with the most goal contributions of any Ipswich player now, even though they will come at Bristol City, and that is in a team that, as we saw in midweek, is significantly worse off than Ipswich at the moment. So give him the chances. Look how many shots he takes. Am I allowed to show a football screen? We're going to do it. Look at that shot, man. My words. He loves them, and he scores from range as well. So there you go. He's underperforming his XG by 0.11. Basically about right, then, isn't it? 8 goals, 8.11 XG, taking 74 shots. You look at his attacking output, really, really good. I'm going to jump to Tom's question. He says, logging off to find the stream. Have a good afternoon, Alex. Have a good afternoon. Go and find that stream. Go and enjoy the game. Obviously, legally, of course, I should stress. Michael Warner says, due to the other town players making less errors, Massey was not picking up cheap yellows like Morsey used to do. You did see that quite a few times, didn't you? Where when there were errors playing out from the back, this did happen in the Championship with a lot of players stepping into the division, and obviously, of course, in the Premier League as well. You did see Morsey getting forced into dragging people down, but as well, he was a physical player. You can see it with the yellow cards he's already picked up with Bristol City. I think he's already had a couple. So, yeah, I think they are different. I think the Matasiwa has that less aggressive streak in that defensively, I think maybe it's a controversial take. I think he's better than Sam Morsey in that sense. He's more composed on the ball when on the ball, but like chasing down the ball. His tackles are so clean, it's so effortless in what he does. On the ball, there's an argument for sure that Sam Morsey is kind of the superior in that aspect, but what he does from a defensive perspective, interceptions, tackles, duels, all of those things, Azor Matasiwa is excellent. We've got another one from Jamie. Come on, you Blues. Horse Olarak. I've missed you, Horse Olarak. Good to see you back. Wrap up warm, Alex. It feels like temp in Brooklyn right now is minus 21 degrees C. At least it doesn't feel like that here in Sheffield. Yeah, I've got another 3 weeks for it to warm up before we head over that way. But yeah, I have a base layer from Uniqlo that will protect me to like minus 15 as it is. So I had a nice coat on top. I should be okay. But God, that is going to be pretty cold and pretty snowy. Snowy. There we go. Stu, going to come say hello? There he is, the doctor's here. I think we're almost about ready to wrap up. We've almost done 25 minutes so far. We've been going for a little while. We've got about 15 minutes till kick-off. So we're going to go through the teams one more time. It already came up automatically there. We'll go through it one more time. 5 changes for Ipswich Town. Walton in goal, Furlong, O'Shea, Kipray and Greaves in that back line. Greaves comes in for Leif Davis, who's on the bench. Matasiwa partners Taylor. Taylor in for Jens Eustace, who's on the bench. Cinderella Igeli in for Wes Burns, who's on the bench. Sam Smoddix comes in the number 10 role. Marcelino Nunes drops out through injury. Jack Clark on the left and George Hurst in for Even Azon, who's on the bench. And then that Sheffield United team will do as well. Cooper in goal, so Ricky McGuinness, me and McCallum make up the back line. We'll see Peck and Davis in midfield. Brooks, O'Hare and Hamer in some sort of pattern through the middle. We don't know whether it will be O'Hare or Hamer on the left. And Patrick Bamford, Ipswich Town transfer targets, formerly who leads the line. Another couple of comments. We've got Michael who says, plus 23 degrees here at 1 a.m. in Australia. I am jealous. It's currently 7 degrees here in Sheffield, and it feels like 0. Apparently, it doesn't for me. But there you go. And Michael says, the last one we take, shows how quickly the championship table pardon me, can turn. Earlier in the week, Ipswich was sitting second place and now third, 5 points behind Middlesbrough. Yes, Town have 2 matches in hand, but rather have points. Of course, you'd rather have the points, but I think in this case, it's also beggars can't be choosers, and we're unfortunate with the fact that that Portsmouth game got called off, and one of the games in hand was just because Borough played earlier today. But it's a proper race, this, isn't it? Coventry kick off against Norwich in 15 minutes as well. I think this is one of those days where we'd quite like our friends up the road in yellow and green to do us a favour, don't you think? They've already given us Nunez, and we could do with them taking 3 points as well. And yeah, Borough are going great guns at the moment. Every time I think they're going to fade away, they don't. I feel quite confident about Ipswich's position in the table, but look, Ipswich have kind of taken up the Leicester, or almost, well, we don't want it to be the Leeds role in this kind of title promotion race that we saw from the last championship season, where maybe now you've got Borough, who are the underdogs, a bit like Ipswich were, or Coventry even, and Ipswich and the team with the power pack squad, like Leeds had, like Leicester had, who've got to deliver and deal with the pressure of the underdogs who don't have that, and that's what Borough are in particular. I think this season under Kim Helberg performing really, really well. So there you go. Keep an eye on Coventry away at Norwich this afternoon. Keep an eye, of course, on Ipswich Town here at Sheffield United. We have got all our coverage up live and running. Stu is running the live blog. If you're not watching here today, not on TV, I don't think, at least in this country. So if you can't watch it, come follow with us if you're a subscriber. We'll have reaction after the game, all sorts coming up. Stay tuned. got an offer going at the moment. So if you're not subscribed as well, get signed up to that one. It's a good time. I think we're on £3 for 3 months at the moment. Marcus tweeted about it, so go and double check that. She gave me a look, which makes me worry. But there you go. Fingers crossed it's that. Go have a look at our latest deal. Go get signed up if you're not. Go and follow Stu's live blog if you're not here at Bramall Lane today. We will see you on the other side. Enjoy the match, everyone.